Today we're going to create a Mediterranean diet meal plan to celebrate fall, and I'm going to follow the same simple meal prep system I've used in past videos. If you've watched any of them, then you'll know we'll be making 2 homemade dressings, a maple balsamic, and a creamy spicy Parmesan vinaigrette, 1 indispensable, a red bell pepper hummus, and 5 nutrient-packed veggies into 1 creamy seasonal soup. 1 go-with-everything grain, and the quintessential fall heart-healthy protein, turkey, transformed into a warm, nourishing bowl of chili. And after we get it all together, I'll head to the bakery and pick up a loaf of crusty, rustic whole grain bread. If you want to follow along, just to make it a little easier, I created a downloadable PDF guide, and you'll find a link in the description below. But for now, pull up a chair, grab a cup, and join me in my Mediterranean kitchen. The most time-consuming part of meal prep is, well, prepping. And that means getting out your sharpest knife and easing into the rhythm of slicing and dicing. And while we're doing that, go ahead and preheat the oven to 375 Fahrenheit, 190 degrees Celsius. Once the ingredients are organized and ready to go, we'll start with the recipes that need unsupervised time to work their magic and fill in downtime with a few recipes that take a couple of hands-on minutes to pull together, like the hummus, the couscous, and the dressings. First, we're going to get the soup started. Since the squash is the firmest veggie, cut it up into smaller pieces so that it finishes roasting at about the same time as the other soup ingredients. Spread everything out evenly on a roasting pan, drizzle on some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and slide it into the oven for about 25 minutes. With the soup underway, let's get going on the turkey chili. I'm using a stovetop, but if you've got a slow cooker and really want to go hands-off, it'll work really well too. Over medium-high heat, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil and break up the turkey. Leave it alone for a little bit as it browns and the liquid evaporates. While that's happening, let's blend our very own chili powder. And here's where you can really have some fun by making it your own. I'm going with a Mediterranean vibe and leaning into Spain's favorite spice, paprika. So I'm using 2 teaspoons of sweet paprika, 1 teaspoon of smoky paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of sumac, and a little bit of black pepper. We'll taste for salt as the chili cooks. Now add all the spices, onions, and garlic to the pan and stir until it's well coated. After a couple of minutes, add the stock, sweet potato, turnip, parsnip, and crushed tomatoes. Add more water or stock to fill in, bring it to a very gentle boil, cover, and reduce the heat to a simmer. If you notice the liquid is evaporating too fast, or if you want a thinner style, then add a bit more stock as it cooks. Great, now that we've taken care of those hands-off things, let's fill in the waiting time and rev up the blender to make a rich and yummy red bell pepper hummus. I use it all week long as a dip for crackers or veggies, as a smear on breakfast toast, or a dressing on a sandwich. And it just couldn't be easier or creamier or tastier. So don't blink, this is going to be fast. The biggest effort is to remove those skins from the chickpeas, and if you know me, this is non-negotiable. It turns every hummus recipe into an incredible bowl of fluff. Plus, everything else either is coming from a can or a bottle, so it's hard to argue with this one little step that makes such an enormous difference. And all we have to do is pile all the ingredients into the blender, bring it up to its highest setting for less than a minute, and it's ready to pack into a fridge-friendly container. Whether it's the super simple to make traditional small grain couscous or this pearl style that actually requires a little bit of cooking, it's a grain-like pasta that's great hot or cold. It cooks up in 15 minutes. It stores in the fridge for days. It loves being partnered with all sorts of flavors. The classics are olive oil, lemon, and parsley, but you can add spices to the pot while it's cooking and infuse it with whatever flavor you're in the mood for. Cooked couscous is perfect for a salad, a soup, or even adding to our chili at the last minute if you want to add a bit more heft. Set the water kettle on to boil. Heat a little olive oil in a wide, flat-bottom pan and toast the couscous in a bit of that oil until it takes on a nice golden color. Then add a pinch of salt and cover with either hot stock or water and cook for about 15 minutes. Once it's done, drain it and dress it with a little bit of olive oil before packing it up in the fridge. After 20 minutes, add the beans and the olives and simmer uncovered for another 15 minutes or so. Since they're already cooked, we don't want the beans to get too mushy. Well, we have a few minutes before the veggies come out of the oven, so I want to tell you about my newest adventure. I just published a book all about how to follow the Mediterranean diet. It's called Everyday Mediterranean, a 30-day Kickstart Plan, and it includes 30 days of breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks, plus a whole bunch of tools to help you track your progress. So if you want more than just this meal prep plan for the week, you might enjoy checking it out. It's available all over the world on Amazon. We still have enough time to whisk together the dressings. I find that if I have 2 dressings ready to go, I always eat more salads, and I like to mix it up so there's plenty of variety in the fridge. Plus, these dressings will last for a couple of weeks easy. Maple balsamic vinaigrette couldn't be simpler. 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon of fresh pepper, and just whisk it all together. And tangy Parmesan is just as simple. 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 3 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, 1 minced clove of garlic, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning mix, 1/4 teaspoon of fresh pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, and a teaspoon of honey to finish it off. And hey, don't forget to stock up on some classic fall salad sidekicks like dried cherries, apricots or figs, heart-healthy walnuts, and pumpkin seeds and onion bits. Somehow these little finishing touches always make a salad that much more fun and tasty. Our final detail is to blend the soup ingredients together for the finish. In a large stock pot, heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil with 1 teaspoon of thyme and more sumac or paprika, whatever you like best, and ladle in all the roasted veggies. Now top it off with 4 cups of vegetable stock or water, and squeeze all that wonderful, rich, roasted garlic paste into the pot too. I like to use an immersion blender for 2 reasons. 1, less dishes. 2, I can adjust the chunkiness or smoothness to my taste. And if it needs a little bit of salt, I can add it then. Now it's your turn. Start mixing and matching these amazing dishes for a week of healthy fall meals. And don't forget, everything you're going to need is in that PDF link in the description box below. And of course, if you're looking for even more support, then head over to Amazon and check out my brand new book, all about the diet and 30 days of ways to follow it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.